Teslas are being torched, dealerships and charging stations turned into crime scenes, and somehow it's getting weirder by the day. If they can't tell the difference between domestic terrorism and protests, I don't think they're the heroes they think they are. Across the country, we're seeing a growing number of attacks targeting Teslas. Spray paint, cars set on fire, dealerships shot up, superchargers torched. These aren't isolated incidents anymore. It's happening often enough that we're past vandalism. It's a pattern. Just recently, the Canadian International Auto Show kicked Tesla out of the event, citing concerns of safety for their attendees. And what's really wild, it's not just Tesla's property being hit. A lot of this damage is landing on regular people, everyday Americans who just happen to own an EV, a specific brand of EV. Their personal vehicles have become targets simply because of the badge on the hood. It's even leading some vehicle owners to rebrand their cars, trying to make them look like something they're not. But just like these old Pizza Huts from the 90s, we all know what's really going on, and I'm pretty sure that's not a Toyota. Not long ago, Anheuser-Busch came under attack. People stopped buying Bud Light, people protested with their wallets. Sales dropped, shelves stay full, and the company felt it. That's a boycott. But with Tesla, we're seeing something totally different. Sure, some people are walking away, but there's a fringe group out there setting things on fire. And while it might be aimed at Tesla, it's everyday people who are getting hit the hardest. And I'm not just talking about Tesla owners. They have to worry about their safety and the safety of their families, just because of the car they drive, and probably a car they've owned for years. But things have gotten really dangerous for firefighters. EV fires, they're a whole different beast. Thankfully, in most of these attacks, the battery packs haven't been involved. It's usually just the cabin burning. But there have been a few cases where the battery has gone into thermal runaway, and that's a nightmare. These are difficult to extinguish. They last longer, and they can reignite hours later. You're not just putting out a fire, you're fighting a battery that wants to keep coming back for more. Fire departments are now having to put out internal safety notices because of this nonsense. San Diego Fire just released a bulletin warning their crews about a rise in Tesla-related arsons. This went out to all of Southern California. They're reminding firefighters to review their electric vehicle fire SOPs, standard operating procedures, wear full PPE, and if the battery is involved, evacuate 330 feet in all directions. Think about it. Because someone decided to make a statement with a gas can and a lighter, first responders now have to treat these scenes like they're hazmat zones. Crews are being told to secure a water supply, call hazmat, and monitor the vehicle for at least an hour afterwards, because again, that battery might reignite without warning. This isn't a harmful protest. It's putting people in danger, and it's changing the way departments have to operate. And what happens when someone decides fire isn't enough? What happens when they take the next act of protest that involves people, whether it's dealership employees, a firefighter, or a family charging their EV at a grocery store? This stuff doesn't stay property damage forever. So when someone lights up a Tesla thinking it's just property damage, they're actually putting lives at risk, especially the first responders that have to clean up the mess. And here's the kicker. These actions, they're not going unnoticed. Authorities are cracking down hard. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced that 3 individuals have been recently charged with arson attacks on Tesla properties. She labeled these attacks as domestic terrorism. Each person faces between 5 and 20 years in prison. What makes this even more baffling is the sheer stupidity of it. Teslas are covered in high-definition cameras, inside and out. These aren't just cars, they're rolling surveillance systems. Vandalizing one is like tagging a police station. You're gonna get caught. Case in point, a man in California was arrested within 24 hours after the vehicle's cameras captured him keying the car in the parking lot. And then, some people are just downright disgusting. Look at this guy, caught on camera, digging into his own butt to leave a personal skid mark on the side of a Cybertruck. I mean, seriously, if your form of protest involves playing with your own poop, maybe it's time to rethink your life choices. Oh, sorry, snack time. Look, it's totally fair to have strong opinions about the company. Don't like Elon? Fine. Don't want to drive an EV? Totally your call. But setting cars on fire, smearing homemade skid marks on Cybertrucks, that's not activism. That's just gross and dangerous. Protest with your voice. Protest with your wallet. Although, Let's be real. These aren't the types of people that are probably shopping for a car, at least a new car, anytime soon. Hopefully, these terrorists start to realize that there are real consequences to their actions. And this nonsense, hopefully, it doesn't drag on for much longer. The fire service already has enough on its plate. The last thing we need is a wave of arsonists turning vehicle fires into the next public safety crisis. Because at the end of the day, this isn't a rebellion. It's just reckless, smelly, and felony grade stupidity.